First thing we have to look at here is the fact that this is a big shift from SAP to Oracle. In fact, this is more than just a system replacement. Anytime you have an incumbent system that's been used for a very long time, it's been customized, you've built the internal competencies and maturities around that system, anytime you rip that system out and go to replace it with a new one, that's a high-risk endeavor. It's very complex. It's going to take a lot of time and cost you a lot of money to do it. So if you think about it, most organizations build a large IT staff that learn a certain system. The users of the system, the employees, they know how to use that one system. But in this case, we went from SAP now to Oracle Fusion, and that's a totally different mindset shift. It's a cultural shift. Oracle's a bit more flexible, has more capabilities in some areas and less capabilities in other areas. So I'm not saying Oracle is right or wrong for Birmingham City Council, but it's just a massive shift to go from one incumbent system to another, especially if you're a larger organization, especially if you're a complex organization, and especially if you've been using your legacy system for decades or more. So those are the things you have to think about. And so if a vendor comes to you and says, hey, we can implement this new system to replace your old one in just 18 months or 24 months, if you're a large organization, I would look at that and say, that doesn't sound right, because we are not just changing our systems, we are completely overhauling our processes. We've got to train people on an entirely new system. We have to build an IT staff that can support this new system. So there's a lot that goes into that. So recognizing that moving from one platform to another, especially if you're completely changing that platform and moving from one platform to a very different one, that's going to increase the cost, risk, and time associated with your project. Now we also have to look at this concept of digital maturity. A more digitally mature organization that is used to modern technologies and has built a very innovative culture and a very robust IT staff internally, that organization is going to have a little bit easier time transitioning to a new system than an organization that is sort of rooted in an older technology and maybe just doesn't have that digital maturity or that sense of innovation or that culture of innovation within their organization. Now, I don't know Birmingham City Council. I've never worked with them. I've never worked for them, so I couldn't tell you what their culture is. But based on what I've read in public records related to this project, it sounds like they have a highly tenured staff. It sounds like they've been using the same systems and the same processes for a long time, which would tell me they probably have a fairly low digital maturity. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not judging them for that. A lot of organizations have low digital maturity. But what you have to recognize, when you have a low digital maturity, it's going to take you longer, it's going to be riskier and more costly for you to move to an entirely new system. So you just have to plan accordingly.